So you just heard your favorite guitarist play a solo on the radio. Can't get it out of your head. You're like thinking, okay, I really want to play just like my favorite guitarist, but you don't even have a guitar to your name. Well, I'm going to take you through a process of how to buy a guitar, and then you can start playing your solos in no time. So first, I'm going to start off with the kind of music you're interested in. It's a huge factor when it comes to the types of guitar you'd want to play. Um, so I'm going to break it up between rock and country. Since most people, want to play the kind of music they listen to, I'll help you narrow it down for the guitar that you want to play. Rock music, it became popular in the U.S. In the 1960s mostly. Some of your favorite rock bands you might hear from back then is, Elvis Presley. Of course, you got the Beatles. You're gonna have Jimi Hendrix. Your Led Zeppelin. And these days, in the 90s, it was Nirvana and Pearl Jam, bands like that. Country music, it's the fourth most popular genre in the U.S. Like rock, it's there's many styles and subgenres of it, but to keep it simple, I'll just keep it in country. A lot of the famous acts we have are Johnny Cash, your Hank Williams, Garth Brooks, and these days you've probably heard of Toby Keith. Now that I a little bit of the genre you want, I'm gonna tell you the difference between the electric guitar and acoustic, and there's always a chance that you choose some of the difference between pros and cons of the acoustic or the electric. For the electric, for a lot of the pros you have, it's easier to play. It's got lighter strings and a lower action. The necks are usually easier to handle for small hands, and easier to solo actually. You can be played easily when you're sitting down. Lead guitar techniques you can use a lot more on an electric. Now for the cons, you're gonna have to buy an amplifier. That's gonna cost a little extra money. You're gonna have to buy the cables for it, cords, and clutter that can clutter up your living space and become tripping hazards. If you don't take care of it. Um, and the electronics may age too, which would make your guitar useless. Not completely useless, but you're not gonna hear it anymore like you would through an amp. And now I'm gonna go into the acoustic. You got the pros would be it doesn't require the amplifier. Uh, it's good enough for a lot of popular styles that you want to play. You won't need outlets. You don't need cables and cords. The cons for it, it's a wide neck, so if you're a beginner, it's gonna be difficult for small hands. You got a fixed bridge, so you're not gonna be able to adjust the strings like you would on the electric. So your hands might hurt a little bit. Your fingers would, and you're not going to be able to hook up any kind of pedals or anything to make any different sounds to it to give it your own mystique. Now that you have a better understanding between the pros and cons, I'm gonna make it easier for what you want. I'm gonna go into the how to shop for a guitar. The one thing you want to do is you want to research. You can go to a few different stores. You can go to pawn shops whenever you see one. Check it out. Just learn more about guitars. Get your hands on them. That's the big thing that you want to do. Go on the internet, look at reviews of guitars, see what people are saying about them. That's where you can get so much information these days, and it's a real big asset for what you're trying to do. Make sure pick up a friend's guitar. Check theirs out, see what that feels like, and you know, for experience, take a friend along. That's what I really think that you should do. Somebody who knows what they're doing, somebody who's played for a while. They'll likely know what you need, what you want. Um, Ask store clerks, don't be afraid to ask them. A lot of these people that work in the music business, they've done this for years. Um, for deals, just make sure you have a budget. Look for used instruments, just make sure that they're in good shape. And perhaps a friend wants to sell you theirs and maybe get a real good deal. Go on the internet. The internet has a ton of deals. The negative is you can't touch them, so that's the downside. And you like I said, retail stores and your pawn shops. That's where you're gonna, if you go to a store, you're gonna be able to take your problems there, so they can fix it. I told you a little bit about more of the popular music genres and some of the artists. I give you some pros and cons of the electric and the acoustic. The acoustic is cheaper. It's an alternative, but it doesn't have the features the electric does. When you're shopping for guitars, make sure to take somebody who's experienced and make sure you'll be playing solos in no time.